representative of Group 3, and after deliberating, we came out with 9 key challenges that are affecting directly or indirectly the cases of sexual gender-based violence. Our number 1 challenge is medical reports. The second one is withdrawal of cases by the victims. The third one is getting witnesses to testify before the court. Furthermore, threats to the victims, delay of assigning cases, improper investigation by the police officers, political and ethnic interventions, accessibility to medical facilities, and number 9, stigmatization of the victims. So our challenge number 1, which is the medical report. The preferred solution is that the doctors should be properly trained on how to write a medical report and avoid medical jargons. Most of the medical doctors, their report actually, some of them is not detailed in pointing out what the observations were. Some will even write in a handwriting that is unreadable. So I think if they are properly trained on how to report and what to report and when to report, it will help us tackle this and also create more awareness and training for IPUs. Point or challenge number 2 is withdrawal of cases by victims. We will all know, and probably we must have heard one case or the other, that a victim is willing to testify, nevertheless is being pressured by a family member or a community member to withdraw the case. So I think this can be tackled through adequate sensitization, counseling of parents and the victims on the need for justice of that particular victim in order to avoid further exploitation of other people in the community. Our third point is getting witnesses to testify before the court. And this is not because they don't want to. Many of them want to and are willing to, but they are scared of what comes afterwards. Particularly if you are testifying against an influential person in the community. The threat for your safety is always there. And we believe as a group, if there is assurance of protecting the identity of the witness and provision of logistics. If we say logistics, we mean transport, supporting them with transportation, because some of them may be coming from far places and some are willing to come, but they don't have the means of transporting themselves rather to the place. So provision of logistics and assuring the confidentiality of their identity also help a lot. Number 4, threats to the victim. Removing the victim from the environment of being assaulted and placed in a shelter. If we say a shelter, it's just not a place that is called a shelter, but a well-equipped and conducive shelter to actually help and go a long way. Our point number 5 is delay of assigning cases. Delay of assigning cases it can be frustrating. You report a case, but the case is not being assigned for a period of time. Others that would want to or are looking up to seeing your case being pursued and your perpetrator sentenced or judged or penalized will get discouraged to even come and report their own cases. So in this situation, we believe that the system of assigning cases should be pinpointed and solved at different levels of organizations. Organizations such as NAFTI, the legal aid and other organizations have different procedures of proceeding of assigning cases. So if this can be tackled and pinpointed at different organizations, it will help. And also, frivolous adjournment should be avoided by parties. And in conclusion to that point, provision of specialized court, just as the previous speaker spoke on or pointed, should be encouraged or should be done with immediately. Point number 6, improper investigation by the police. Lack of investigating facilities like forensic facilities, patriotic willingness from the part of the IPOs to do the investigation properly is very encouraged. Then number 7 point, which is political interference, political and ethnic interference rather. We know that in a case whereby the perpetrator is that or his mom is influential and well connected, and he commits this crime against a, let me just say, commoner, let me put it that way, there will definitely be political interference to an extent that sometimes it can lead to threats. It can be that they will come on the background or behind the scene trying to bribe, trying to compensate, or trying to persuade the victim's family or the victim not to pursue the case. In intention or with the let me say, with the determination to pursue the case, a threat can come in. Also at the political level, at the ethnical level, just as mentioned in the round table discussion, it can be that a district head will say that if you pursue this case, I will expel you, or I will ask you to leave, I will banish you from the community because you are trying to win the community. So there's always that interference. So in this, we believe that it can be tackled if the cases should be autonomous. And then our last, but second to last point or challenge is accessibility to medical facilities, especially in the rural areas. People in the rural areas, when assaulted, find it very difficult to go to the medical center and get appropriate medical report that they can present as evidence. And as a result, due to delay or inadequate facility, time elapses. And by the time they get access to these facilities, the certain things that they need to state down as proof is no longer there. So this is a major challenge. We believe that by building more medical facilities and well-equipped labs, this can be tackled. Furthermore, if incentives for medical workers who will be posted to rural areas is done or given to actually help in getting or acquiring this medical report on time. Our last point is stigmatization of the victims. The victims should be well tried in chambers, particularly to be specific in the law chambers rather than public places as in the public chambers, and less publicity of the case should actually be encouraged. In a situation whereby if a minor, although there are some places that minors' cases are being tried, let me not say hiddenly, but in a more private and exclusive manner, there are some adults, they are adults in age, but the courage for them to stand and say things the way they are is just not there. Due to the faces they are seeing, due to the audiences they are seeing, they get discouraged because of the publicity. So if these cases should be moved and a little bit privatized, it will help give the victims courage to come out and testify at the end. These are the 9 points that I will discuss and the prepared solution for it. Thank you.